Top of the morning to you. Today's episode has been brought to you by Flossin. If you never heard of it, go over to Facebook, man. You will see what's happening over there. One of the dopest Facebook groups. That is not. It is not, and I will say it is not an Invicta Facebook group. It's a bunch of collectors of Invicta that's in that group. Very motivational stuff, motivational messages left on this channel, or actually Facebook group. Then you have Invicta 757, which I'm a moderator over there. And yeah, man. How y'all doing today, man? Welcome in, welcome in. My glasses are filthy. I get some new glasses here as soon as this live is over. I'm going over to Mr. Table or Dr. Table to go get my new updated glasses. Yes, my vision has been challenged, man. So let's get into it today, man. Seriously, today's episode was inspired by a number of things, and I have to, my man KJ, man, thank you for sending me that information over. I was looking at the Sylvester Stallone, so anybody that's looking at the thumbnail, G Kicks is in the video. Man, it's your boy G Kicks. Man, what's happening, bro? Man, thank you so much for gracing me today, bro. And it's a blessed day. G Kicks is in the building, y'all. G Kicks is in the building, man. So yeah, I was man, my man Kev sent me this article on Sylvester Stallone and him selling his watches, right? And I was like, okay, and it was crazy is because I was on Instagram, it was about 2 weeks ago, and I just got a clip of Sylvester Stallone. Say you just working, man. Good. Hey, bro, I hope you have a blessed day, bro. All day, all week, for the rest of your life, bro. You know what I'm saying? Hey, it's so cool, man, seeing other content creators, man, dropping your lives and stuff like that, bro. That never gets old with me. I love it. Call the boys in the building. What's going? The word is, man, blessings, blessings on blessings on blessings. You feel me? Um, we're gonna get into some other stuff, man, because I'm about to have a heart to heart with you guys, man. I'm really excited about today, for a number of reasons. But going back to the topic, what's up, Corey? I just saw you. Um, Sylvester Stallone, right? Now, what do we know about Sylvester Stallone? I've mentioned this before. He's the reason why I like Panerai so much. And this is as a kid, I watched him, with the Panerai, and I've loved that watch ever since. Um, I just love the design. I love the way it looked, man. But it's not even about me. This is about what I saw, the article that was sent to me about Sylvester Stallone literally giving his or not giving his collection away, but selling his collection. Now, Sylvester Stallone goes on to say there was somebody came across that looked at his watch. He had a Rolex on, and this guy was like, "Yo, my watch is like $3. You got that watch?" And like they do the same thing, they tell time. And Sylvester Stallone went into this whole explanation as to, like, these aren't just pieces, these aren't just, timekeepers and stuff like that, or recording time. These things represent, accomplishments in life and stuff like that, right? Now what's crazy was, like, they only showed that part of the clip. After I got the article, there was more to the story, and I was like, oh, he sold some premier pieces. So get, man, this is what's crazy. Sylvester Stallone had the most complicated Patek ever, right? From based on what I read, and I was like, okay, that's interesting. Um, so as I'm looking through this article in list, I went over there to YouTube, right here, YouTube, right. I came over and I watched the whole thing in its entirety, and I was like, whoa! Not only did he sell the most expensive, and I'm just going straight to the man. Man, he sold one of the most complicated watches on the planet, right? And based on what they said, how to get this watch, you have to be an owner of other Patek's, right? And then you have to write a letter or something. It's a process to get to it. And then there's a lot of your name is pulled, and then you still don't get the watch when once you once you're chosen, you have to wait a couple years until it's built and all this other stuff, man. And then you get the watch, and it's sealed, right? And they break the seal, put on your wrist, whatever the case is. Well, Sylvester Stallone never broke the seal on his. His was boom, solid, right? He's one of a few people that was able to get that watch. Because and I don't know how that's one thing I didn't research is how much the watch was retail, but I believe he sold it for a little over $5 million, well over $5 million. And then I read finished reading the article, what the president of Paddock was upset, you know what I'm saying, because of what it was, right? And then, like I'm looking at all the words, all the messages, all the comments people are leaving about this. Some people are pissed off with Sylvester Stallone. Some people are calling him like he's just a celebrity, man. You know, he ain't no real watch collector, and he's not this. Some people's like, oh man, bro, he got over. There's a lot of back and forth. You know, like there's no satisfying people when it comes to things like that. And for those that say, hey, well, it's his collection, he can do what he wants to. You 100% right. He don't need validation, and even though he pissed some people off in the world of Paddock, he did what he did, and he's Sylvester Stallone. So at the end of the day, it's not like what you gonna beat him up because he did that. But then, of course, I got my thought process behind that, man. So let me get into it. Watch check. I got on my Mushner, and this is from right here in Indiana. I actually saw this watch and when they were building it, and not this particular one, but I saw them building it. It's built right here in the state of Indiana, American made watch. And you know the crazy thing is that I didn't know is this is the third edition of this watch, the third watch made, but I was the first person to get it out of Kokomo, right? So on mine, I actually have the number 3 on it, and then D as in Trapvision 3D. I'm the only one in the world with this watch, and yeah, we're gonna dig into like what type of collector. We're gonna talk about collectors and what type of collector you are. You know what I'm saying? Or does it what's man, Luciano? Or does it even matter? Does it even matter to you? Do these things bother you at all, man? And then we're gonna talk about some luxury watches, man. Talk about luxury watches. Yup, again. We're gonna talk about some luxury watches again. But before I get into that topic, man, the whole Sylvester Stallone. So once I looked at the video in its entirety, Sylvester Stallone literally had a number of watches, man, that he's getting rid of, right? And he may have sold them already. I'm not sure, but one is the first edition of a particular Panerai, and he had a number of Panerai. The one Panerai that he wore in Expendables 2, he got rid of that, and he told a story about Flip Wilson, an old comedian. Flip Wilson took a watch off his wrist and gave it to Sylvester, and Sylvester was like, "Yo, like I can't take this," and he's like, "Nah, bro, check this out. What's up, Invicta Showcase?" Um, he said, "Nah, man, you like, you acquire these things, you pass it along," and I think that's so cool. But I know Sylvester Stallone is not just gonna pass these watches along. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe a Panerai because I mean I don't know, but I know he got a nice chunk of change for that Paddock. But it was just the collector in me, the enthusiast in me was like, yo, bro, how could you let those watches go? Like, like I know he mentioned one that he got. I can't remember if it was an AP. I can't remember which one it was. There was a model that he had that he said he got out of having the big bulky watches and stuff like that. And one of them was kind of bulky. So I could see that, like but it was a gift. Somebody gifted him that watch. And you'll have to read the article. I don't have it tagged, but like just type in Sylvester Stallone sales watch collecting and look the first one that pops up. He's gonna tell a story. And you'll see what watches. I personally, again, he can do what he wants to, and he's done what he wanted to. But I was like, man, there's no way I could have gotten rid of that watch. Any one of those watches. Case in point, my watch that I just posted on Instagram. It's an Invicta Chaos. This watch was actually a part of the Imperius collection, which Invicta didn't own Imperius at one point. The person that started Imperius, from what I heard, um, couldn't. I guess it just wasn't selling. I don't know. Maybe it was launched. I don't know what it was, but Invicta bought this company and took the design. Right, this was the last watch or the one of the biggest sales on the Invicta Cruise in 2020, and it's super high polished. It has a R150, the Ronda 150 Swiss movement inside there, 28,800 beats, I believe it is. So it's just as smooth as a Salida or a Netta, just as smooth. Really nice watch, right? Because and I was actually offered money for this watch before. Like, hey, bro, do you want to sell it? I was like, nah, because that was the last official Invicta cruise. I don't think it'll ever come back. If it do, I don't know. I think that'd be dope. But I don't think Invicta will ever cross that threshold again. So I wouldn't get rid of that watch. You know what I'm saying? I just wouldn't. One of the newest acquisitions I have was this right here, Longines. I don't know if like I would like to get another Longines, but as you guys know, these watches they're not cheap. And this is we're gonna actually fade into the luxury conversation here. Um, and you know what? We're gonna kind of bounce back and forth between Stallone and this whole luxury thing. Last night I was on Watch Crunch and is it Watches with Dennis? He did a video on luxury watches. Now y'all know I talked about like we talked about this like the definition of luxury watches. We talked about this last week and the week before that, and I think a month ago we talked about this. We was kind of kicking back and forth. So what I did was I had been asking questions. I wrote down some notes and stuff like that of what people had told me. But what defines a luxury watch? What defines a luxury watch? And Dennis goes on to talk about, he talked about price. He talked about materials used for a watch. And if you're watching this, let me see, we're 12 minutes into it. If you made it this far, answer me this question for all you guys that's watching replay. What is your definition of a luxury watch? What is your definition of a luxury watch? Because it's going to be fluid. I'm telling you, it's going to be different on from so many people. So I'll tell you, I just paraphrase. I had a conversation with a good friend. I said, hey, you collect a couple of watches, you got a few, probably like 8 or 9 watches. What is like your idea of a luxury watch? Rolex came out the mouth. Bow, just flat. If I get a Rolex, man, that'd be like the best luxury watch. But like mine, it is a luxury to get these things anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like this is the conversation. It's a luxury to get these things anyway because this stuff costs money. Even if it was, like a $16 Casio, right? Um, we take for granted, like people's pockets. Everybody can't afford certain watches, man. So we kicked it around, and we talked about Vacheron Constantine. We talked about Patek. We talked about AP. Um, Rolex, of course, and Oris. We was like, yeah, these are luxury watches because of the cost, man, the finishing, and the company's name, man, like the way they branded it. And I was like, okay, okay, all right. So like for me, a luxury watch, I'm gonna show you something real quick. So let's go back into this. This right here, dive watch. You can find a dive watch. And I actually just got my man just sent me a article, man. He forwarded me an article of Blackberry, and then there was a other forgot the other name of it. Man, you're talking about dive watches that's under $100. I saw one on Watch Crunch, man. This is a bronze watch, man, and that watch looks amazing. It was on a NATO style strap. That thing was beautiful. Like for $85, you got it on $85. And then you can go to the AliExpress had a sale. I don't know if it's still going on, but AliExpress watches are phenomenal, man. Like Eddie's Dive, you can get one of those, man, between 85 to like $150, and you will have a watch that's solid, man. I looked at the Eddie's Dive where the dial itself, the texture on it, man, it was like a bunch of ripples. It will remind you of a Grand Seiko. The way the dial is, $120, $120. You know what I'm saying? And so if you wore that watch, if you saw that watch out, like you could possibly think that person that has that watch, if you didn't know what an Addie's dive was, you're like, man, that watch look expensive, man. And this person only spent $100 and something for it. So my thing with the luxury, I think it's one of those. Just depends on the person. Depends on how much money you want to spend or you willing to spend for like even with this Invicta. This was 288 when it came out on the cruise, and the price went up to either 388 or $400. I can't remember exactly what it was, but that like for the cruise entry price back then, and back in 2020, this watch was I'm gonna just call it 300, and I think it was like $200. Like it was a yeah, it was when it went back to regular price, it was 488 for this. There is a meteorite dial. That one was 488 on the cruise, but went up to 68, 688. And then you had the Pave Diamond one, which just under 1,000. But you could have got that one for 688 on the cruise. Um, and that to me was considered luxury. I was like, man, I got into this watch. I didn't at that point in time in 2020. I had one other Swiss made Invicta. I didn't have, let me see, no, and it wasn't an automatic actually. It wasn't an automatic. That was the first one I ever bought myself. That was the first Swiss automatic I bought myself. And then, of course, after that, then, I started jumping into um, those Etta 2824s and the Salida 200s and 500s. So there's there is a luxury behind that. But I want to get into something else, man, because like we're talking the definition of luxury. There was somebody on Watch Crunch went overseas to Switzerland and they bought this watch right here. They posted it. Bought my first. I don't know if he used the word luxury watch, but they bought this watch over in Switzerland. So what does that mean? So this, I mean, this basically this watch is what, $700. $700 to some people don't mean squat. It don't mean squat. Some people like, yo, um, $700. Just like me going to Denny's eating. You know what I'm saying? Buying a $20 meal. It don't mean nothing. But does that make this a luxury watch? I'll tell you, yes. For my definition of luxury, heck yeah, dude. Heck yeah, because I wasn't out here buying. My price point, dude. $200 is pushing it. I didn't want to spend over $200 for a watch. I didn't feel like it was necessary, but like I know that at one point I was gonna spend over two because the watches that I really really wanted were in the thousands. But I was like, man, that's gonna come. That's gonna come at a different time. It's not gonna come right now. So for the Tissot 80-hour power reserve, right? 80 Powermatic, the 80. This thing right here, it was featured on a number of YouTubers channels, and some gave it praise because it's the cheapest Swiss made watch you can get it to. Other ones slammed it because of the plastic parts that it has. They like, hey, this is a disposable watch. This isn't, your typical, if you really want, like I was looking at the comments and I've heard a lot of reviewers or a few reviewers say, if you really want to get into a nice Swiss made timepiece, they shoot you straight up to the what is it? Tudor. Tudor. I'm like, yo, Tudor, bro, that's 4 grand. Unless you're getting into pre-owned, but $4,000, that's a lot. That's a lot of scratch. That's a lot of scratch. Can't do it. Won't do it. Another item I considered a luxury item, as far as I'm concerned, and we're talking price, but then we're also talking the heritage of a brand, and it's this right here. That's Squale. I wasn't able to just buy this off top, man. I had to save up to actually get into this watch. And once I got it, I was like, yo, I can't believe I have a Squale. And I found out about this through TGV's channel. And this one, I mean, you're talking now, and the price went up. Because what was that? 2 months ago. Well, every year, like most Swatch brands or whatever, you get two price hikes, man. You know what I'm saying? Like it may not be that much, $150 here, $100 there, but at one point, it's gonna be priced out. Because you got too much competition, and that's the other thing I'm gonna talk about is where do you draw the line when watch buying? Where do you draw the line? And you can feel free once you watch this on a replay, put that down in the comment section. Where do you draw the line when it comes to the watches nowadays? Because I mentioned Eddie's Dive, I didn't mention San Martin, which is another option that you have when it comes to buying watches and stuff like that. Um, I don't feel that it's necessary all the time to buy a particular watch based on your YouTube heroes. I left that down in my description. If you guys, I don't even know if people read that on here, but let me show you something because my man Dennis mentioned the prices of watches would determine if it was luxury, right? If you've ever been to an Invictus store and saw a number limited timepiece and it was like number one, you can literally watch and see the price elevate in comparison to other watches. So I'm going to show you an Invicta piece that in store was thousands of dollars. I'm talking about thousands. So this thing is pave diamond. You got diamonds everywhere on this watch. You got the dial, the bezel, the case on both sides, and then you even have it a roll in the crown. Now, this watch is powered by a Salida 200, so a Swiss-made movement in this watch. Now, if this watch was number one, right? If this watch was number one, you could very well see this watch in an Invicta store for over $9,000. Easy, easy. And you can automatically say, you know what? Oof, that right there. That's luxury. That's a luxury item. And don't get me wrong. This was an anniversary gift for my wife, and I cherished this watch because it was a gift, and I was completely surprised by it. I've always wanted a pave dialed watch, and Invicta is the best way to get into a pave style watch anyway, at a certain price point because other companies are going to hit you over the head, man. If you got a company that has like original set, like they set their own stones, like the Rolex. Oh, you're paying tens. No, no, you're paying six figures for a lot of these watches, man. And this right here, man, you're good to go. But does this make this watch a luxury item? I'm gonna say yes because of the diamond count, right? You got just under 3 carats of diamonds on this thing, all the way around, right? Now the quality of the diamonds, are they the best? Of course, I doubt it. I doubt it very seriously, but it really don't matter because there's diamonds in here, regardless of the fact. Then there's a Salida, Salida based movement in there, sign rotor. Now, if this watch went out, that was the other thing that Dennis talked about. Some people qualify a luxury item. If this watch stopped working today, would they replace it, the movement, or would they actually repair it? Some people like, hey, they feel that they got a quality item if it's getting repaired versus they just like, hey, I just bought another movement. It's like if your engine went out in a car, what's the better option for you? To swap it out or have that thing rebuilt? Unless you're getting into your Corvettes or your shoot, I'm not even gonna say Corvette. You talking about your Lamborghinis and your foreign cars, your supercars, those right there, man, your Maseratis and stuff like that. Yeah, those, unless it's like completely shot, you don't want to just have an engine swap. You want that thing rebuilt because of the money that you spent. Now, this in particular piece right here, this particular piece, um, again, this is an heirloom to me. This is a grail for me. You know what I'm saying? Because like it's an anniversary piece. May not mean anything to you, but within the Invicta community, having diamonds, having Pave diamonds, do consider, like we've talked about these things before. That is a luxury item. Now that may not sit well with some folks because you're like, well, I own a watch that costs $50,000. That's luxury. Let's move on to the Zenea. You guys consider this a luxury dive watch or just another micro brand? I'll tell you what, as far as I'm concerned, this is a luxury dive watch within the micro brand space, in my humble opinion, because one, the materials that's used, you got stainless steel on this thing. You have a Salida based movement in there that's been regulated, but then you have a meteorite dial, sapphire crystal. I mean, you don't have to get, what I'm saying, get all excited about sapphire crystal, but I mean, it still adds to it. AR coding, this thing is really clear, but it's just, like I know the story behind this watch. The guy that created Jason, I actually had a chance to interview him and talk with him. I've seen him for the most part when I go to these watch events. I get to see and talk to people like him and learn the story, learn like how, like what was the idea behind it, right? So does that make that a luxury item over this Longines? I'll tell you what, you had somebody that invented the Longines brand back in 1832. You had somebody that created the Zenea brand in 2020 during COVID. During COVID. So, respectfully speaking, um, I don't know the owner. Dead and gone. Family owns it still, Longines, but dead and gone. I can call this cat and be like, yo, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? Email. But even with the family, like the Longines family, um, the president or CEO, whoever runs it, it's not like I could just, reach out and I could send an email or whatever. And they may get back to me. You know, I've done that before. I've actually reached out to some of the brands, man, to ask questions and stuff, and it takes a while. Some I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting, but some is like they get to you a month later. Hey, thank you for your inquiry and whatever, what I'm saying, whatever the response is. But like with micro, that's one thing I love about micro brands is the quick response, the customer service attention, all that stuff, man, all that stuff. But then let's move over to this because I want to get back. So if you were in a position of like Sylvester Stallone and you had a watch that somebody gifted you, right? Let's say, let me throw one out. Let's say somebody gifted you a Rolex Daytona, right? And you had that watch for, I don't know, a few years, whatever. You may or may not wear it. Would you, if somebody offered you, let's say $100,000 for that watch, would you sell it? Would you get rid of it? Would you get rid of it? Let's put you in a different scenario too. Wherever your occupation is, right? Let's say you got promoted and you were recognized, you got a Nobel Peace Prize or whatever the case is, something that was, I mean, you got a president's medal, right? You got pulled up on stage and say, hey, this person is amazing. They're awesome. They saved the company so much money or whatever the scenario is, right? You just getting acknowledged. You're getting praised. You're getting your flowers at this point in time. And one of the things that you receive is one of the rarest watches that was built just for you. And on this dial or case back, had your accomplishments, had your name and stuff like that, and it was gifted to you. And the box it came in was cut directly from mahogany tree or whatever, and finished with your insignia in it, and gifted to you in a book of accomplishments. Would you, would you, if somebody offered you, because it's free to you, right? But somebody saw it and they said, "Hey, I really love that watch. I want to have that watch. I respect you. I think your work is amazing. I want to buy it. I got $250,000 for you right now." Would you sell it? Be honest, man. Be honest. Because some of the words that was said about Sylvester Stallone, and people was letting him have it. Some people understood. I don't know how much. Sylvester Stallone paid for that Patek complicated chimer or whatever. I don't know what the price was originally, but I do know based on the word, I mean the article, he got over $5.4 million. I'm like, that's a lot of money. But to that though, Sly did say out his mouth that these watches represent accomplishments at different points of your life. So with that, I don't know if I would be inclined to get rid of a watch. I don't think I would, man. And I brought a few watches out here just for particular reasons. But like for this one, I got this one because I really wanted it, and I heard about it through, of course, like I said, TGV. But after I did the research, it saw that this company was involved with some of the biggest names in history. You know what I'm saying, with Rolex, making cases for different companies and stuff like that. And I thought that was awesome. I said, you know what, I would like to have a watch from them, right? And there was a YouTuber that stated, no, matter of fact, he's not a YouTuber. It's Kevin O'Leary. He stated this. He was like, when you buy watches, you're supporting the artist, right? And I thought to myself, because I'm in Indiana, I'm definitely gonna support Indiana talent. And I actually have two watches, three actually. I have two visitor pieces, and I have this Flederman right here, the Von Reese. This is the Mushner. This is the Dune Shore, and then I have a Linden's Fall. I don't have it with me. So every time I look at this watch, I think about like, hey man, this guy came up with an idea, and we're actually from like around the same area, from Valparaiso. I was from Chicago, Gary area, so that you're talking about maybe 20, 30 minutes travel time. You know what I'm saying, between each other. But he's been out to Chicago, and actually that you see how that contours a little bit. That represents the being down Millennium Park. So there's elements of this right here represents the dunes of Indiana. So there's ties to it. I won't get rid of this watch. I would much rather, if I was to get rid of this watch, I would much rather buy one of these watches and support him again and give it and gift it to somebody. Unless this was going to, like, if my son wanted it, you know what I'm saying? Um, then that's different. But I couldn't imagine parting ways or selling that watch. I couldn't imagine selling this watch, seeing that, man, I know Adam and Phil. Phil makes the visitor. Adam makes this, and I just couldn't. Another watch that has a lot of meaning to me is this 1938. It's 1938. Now, I didn't get it because of any accomplishments or anything like that, but I do know that when this watch was originally created during the 30s, during the Great Depression, this watch was well over $200. The original version was over $200, and there was families that could not afford it. And now I own a watch right now that the price of this watch currently was more than the average citizen back in 1930s. That watch costs more money than what the average person made per year to survive, to live off of. Put that in your pipe and smoke. Think about that for a second. Think about that. And that, like, again, we talked about luxury being like how fluid it is. You see the luxury behind owning something like this? This simple watch. That simple watch. And then the other part of it, chronometer certified. I didn't own one of those, but I was like, you know what? Like, once I learned what it was, because I didn't know what it was. Once I learned, I said, wow, this thing's been tested for precision, and that was one of the downsides too of an automatic watch, um, was precision. But this thing is just as precise as a quartz piece. I got some quartz pieces that's not as precise as this. Go figure. But this represents a lot. This represents a lot. You know what I'm saying? Evolution and like where we are as a people. And I know members of my family, my descendants, couldn't afford this piece, and I have it in my collection. So this is one that, please, that watch wouldn't go anywhere. The other thing too was the long jeans. Now I've been studying long jeans for a long time. I've been following long jeans for a long time, and I said at one point, I said I will own a long jeans timepiece. And I just learned something that I didn't know, that they have the oldest trademark ever, right, in the realm of watches. Those wings with that the hourglass on it. They have I mean, the longest lasting branded piece out there, man. And we're talking about, when you say luxury, when you talk about timepieces, you have to pay respect to Rolex because they own the majority of the market share of great piece of it, right? Cartier comes in second, and Omega comes in third. But like, these are luxury. These are pieces. These are those things that if you do buy them, or gift them to somebody, man, it's because it's for a reason, right? It's for a reason. But where do you draw the line? Where do you draw the line when it comes to watches? This is something I would love to know. So at 36 minutes into this this live, if you made it this far, you a champion on the replay. But put down in the description, what where do you draw the line when it comes to luxury watches? What would you buy? What wouldn't you buy? Would you go out? And I know, and see, I know Joe is gonna watch this. Joe, I already know your answer. I already know your answer, bro. But how far are you willing to go to scratch the itch of having a watch, having this watch in your collection? Is $700 too much to spend, or that's just like entry level? Like we talked about, and this is kicked around YouTube a lot. The PRX is entry level Swiss made goodness, right? Or is it? Was that just what that YouTuber said? Your YouTube hero. Are there any other watches? I mean, because there are other watches that may not be Swiss made, but they do have a Swiss movement in them for less than that. I mean, Swiss Watch Company. That watch is made in Switzerland. I believe they do it. Yeah, they do it in Switzerland. It's tested and everything over there. And that watch is like, you can buy one of theirs for under $500. And this literally, the father worked for Omega, so you can kind of see the design cues on that watch that are similar to Omega, and it's the bezel because it's scalloped. But what about, I have a watch here that I think is phenomenal. I paid less than $200 for it. You see the dial on that spinnaker? That thing is, man, that thing's, and they got the California look to it. That watch, man, in my opinion, man, is it's a winner. And what made me like fall in love with this watch is because it has Panerai vibes to it. You see the cushion style case? It's comfortable, and this thing, sign rotor, has an NH35 in it. Still got the sweeping motion. Oh, let's bring you to life. Still ain't. Hold on. Come on, man. There we go. There we go. I didn't shake it hard enough. Still got the sweeping motion on it. You got air coating on it, but like at the end of the day, I don't believe specs is everything. We make a big deal out of specifications sometimes, man. Sometimes like you just want to get a watch, wear it, and just on your day to day. I was talking to last week. I was at Kokomo and I showcased you guys Ganance. Matter of fact, I don't know how many of you guys jumped on that, man, but Ganance literally is a device that you could put on the back of your phone, the back of your watch, and turn your watch into a smartwatch. They do have an Apple interface where you can make, like on your phone, it will still be set up just like Apple products, or you can use their interface. But again, you could turn a simple Bodberry, 85, $100 watch into a smartwatch, right? And you can literally tap it. Like it's a crazy technology. That's all I can tell you, man. So I'd like to know how you guys feel, where you guys at. I know I asked a bunch of questions. If you forgot what I asked, just rewind back and then like, okay, that's what they asked. But I would like to know, man, how far would you go as far as luxury? What are you willing to spend? I would like to know, what do you consider luxury, and what brand you consider to have some of the best luxury? Best luxury watches at any price. At any price. I would love to see what your comments are down below because we're going to talk about it. We'll share. We'll have a community service where everybody can come up to the plate. I'll do a live, and there may be a topic that me and my like Vic like. Okay, so here's the deal: two bros and a watch. We bringing that back. NHL is over with right now, so I can have my man come in and we can talk about it this Sunday. And I'd love to get your feedback, man. You're more than welcome to come up on the stage and talk about what is your definition of luxury? What brands do you consider to have the best luxury watches? And how far are you willing to go as far as spending money on these watches? Would like to know all that stuff, man. Look, go ahead and leave me a comment down there, and we can go from there. So that's it. I'm out of here. I got to get some glasses. You know what I'm saying? Because these glasses, they cool. But I can't see is, I mean, I can see enough to see the comment section, but yeah. All right, y'all. I'll catch y'all sometimes we y'all know I go live on just like that. Holler at y'all later. Y'all be blessed.